Family Fandom Talk, FFT, the show where we invite families, a parent and a kid, to talk the latest fan stuff. My name is Emily, and this is my dad, Michael.
And I'm just doing an adjustment on the shot because all of a sudden your camera went wrong. But I fixed that, and now we are actually going to go to the rules. Okay, as Emily said, I'm Michael. Sorry about that little technical glitch. We're just on our second episode, so, these are going to happen. So this is Family Fan Talk. Right now, it's still just me and Emily, but we're hoping to get some other parents and kids in here. Here are the rules of the discussion. One is obviously there's no cursing because it's a family-friendly show. Two is that parents and the kids, both of them, need to be fans. So, I mean, eventually we hope to have at least two sets of parents, maybe three, two sets of parents and kids, maybe three sets of parents and kids. Eventually, if we get really fancy, 4 sets of parents and kids. But we want everyone to be able to participate in the discussion, so everyone should be into the stuff that we're talking about. And what are we talking about? What's fandom? So fandom stuff, it's sci-fi, fantasy, Star Wars, Star Trek, DC superheroes, Marvel superheroes, Disney princesses, just about anything that is kind of an interest that people can be into. And then for the kids, we feel like each kid needs to be old enough to really be able to be part of the discussion. So like a younger sibling or something, someone like 4 or 5 is probably not going to be able to hold a conversation for 45 minutes to an hour. So ideally it should be a kid who's at least, kind of 8 to 10 years old to be able to have a conversation about this kind of topic and stuff. And then a really, really big one is that all opinions are valid. There will be no shouting down each other. There will be no saying someone else is wrong. If there's someone stating a fact and someone else knows that the fact is incorrect, you can correct someone on a statement of fact, but not someone's opinion. Everyone's opinion is just as qualified as anyone else's opinion. All feelings are valid. And then one thing I need to add on here, and I'll have it for next week, is spoilers. Spoilers. I'm going to go ahead and get Emily in on this now. So there will definitely be spoilers on here. I mean, we're going to be doing a news segment where we're going to be talking about stuff that's coming up, but in particular, we're going to be doing reviews. And in the reviews, if you haven't seen something, then please go ahead and stop and wait and watch the latest show that we're talking about, and then come back here, and then you can watch the discussion or listen to the conversation. We will be talking about spoilers on stuff. If it's come out, it's fair game. If it's actually been out in the movie theater, or it's been on TV, or it's on a streaming service available, it's fair game for us. Okay, so now we're going to move straight into our news segment.
Fandom news.
And then back to our 2-shot, which is weird to say. But so one thing we're going to try this week, something new that we didn't get, we'll try to get better with stuff every week, is we're now actually going to have slides for the news. So I'm going to switch to that, and it will lead us into our first story. Did you want to do that one, Emily?
Sure. So to start off our news segment, writer/director of Promising Young Woman, Fennell, is writing Zatanna.
Yep, it's going to be a movie.
I don't know more about that.
That's okay. We don't know yet whether it's going to be a full feature film, whether it's going to be on HBO Max, but it's really exciting stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff right now that a lot of female writers and directors are nominated for a lot of awards this year, and a lot of these, really up and coming directors are getting the chance to do superhero projects. So Emerald Fennell, it's her very first film, feature film, Promising Young Woman, and she's been winning awards left and right. She's most likely going to get nominated for an Academy Award for either writing and/or directing for Promising Young Woman. And the fact that Disney's already snatched her up and said, "Hey, let's give you a property that you might be interested in," and she's going to be doing a Zatanna project. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, let's move to our next. Is on the upcoming show Hawkeye. Which is going to be on Disney Plus. They're working on it right now, and I believe it's going to be premiering probably either late this year or early 2022. I think they were shooting for releasing it this year, but I don't know if they're that far along on it yet. But in the show Hawkeye, they're introducing the character of Kate Bishop, played by Haley Steinfeld. She'll be kind of the person that Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner, is training to be the new Hawkeye. But they're also adding another character from the comics, the character of Echo, who is a deaf Native American whose ability gives her the ability to copy people's movements, so like be able to copy their fighting styles, which is very similar to a character who's appearing in Black Widow called the Taskmaster. So I don't know if there's going to be a tie between them of them having similar abilities there. But the interesting thing is about the fact that the character is also deaf, and actually will be played by a Native American actress. Her name is Alaqua Cox, and it's her very first film role. And so it's very exciting that she'll be playing this character in Hawkeye. But then they're just now making the show, and they're so excited about her performance and how it's going that they're already talking about having a potential Disney Plus spinoff series specifically for this character. Yeah, that's kind of exciting, isn't it? Yeah, I know you don't know the comics, but what do you think about those characters and having a teenage girl being the new Hawkeye, and then having another teenage girl be potentially getting her own Disney Plus series?
I think that it's nice, it's lots of girls these days instead of what I think of when I think of the first comics where it was mainly just boys. Now it's more girls than boys, pretty much.
And you like that?
Know. Yeah.
Cool. So you would be excited to watch these shows?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Let's see. So next up, we've mentioned Black Widow, which keeps getting delayed. It's gotten delayed again. It was originally supposed to be out in May of last year. Then they pushed it to November. And obviously the issue is with the pandemic, not being able to have movie theaters open. The concern keeps being from the studios is that they don't want to release these movies until they know for sure that they're going to be able to get enough of an audience to be able to make their money back. Because these kind of movies, the Marvel big movies, cost $200 million. And, in order to, be sure that they're going to try to make that money back, they want to know that they're going to be able to get enough of an audience. Now, with last year, they started the new experiment of releasing some of them directly on Disney Plus at what they call a VIP or premiere rate of $30. So people kept saying, it's okay, we want the Black Widow movie, you keep pushing it back, because they pushed it back from May to November, they pushed it back from November to this May, and then it started getting towards 2 months out, and everyone's okay, we haven't heard, movie theaters are starting to open up. Movie theaters in New York and LA only recently opened up about 2 weeks ago. Those are the top two kind of movie theater, cities in America, so everyone was okay, those theaters are open up, but still, across the country, a lot of theaters are not open up. People are still getting the vaccine. Not everyone is comfortable with going back to the movie theater and may not by May. So everyone is wondering, okay, are they going to release it on Disney Plus for $30? Maybe do it in both. They did it for Mulan. They've done differently for some films like Soul. Soul went directly. And I guess there's another Pixar movie coming out this summer that's actually going to go directly to Disney Plus. But what they ended up deciding to do is, instead of releasing in the May date that they were going to release, they've now moved it to July 9th. But it will be available on the same day. It'll be in the theaters in July 9th, and on the same day it will be available on Disney Plus for $30. So let's hope that we finally get to see this movie.
Yeah, I've been waiting for a while, because she's my favorite Marvel character. But I wanted to correct a fact.
Oh, okay.
So, point out a fact to you. It's called Premiere Access.
Thank you.
On Disney Plus.
Thank you. I couldn't remember exactly what that's called.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good job. Okay, so because of that, then a lot of stuff, this has been the game of dominoes that Marvel and that all movie studios have been playing for the last year or two. And movie studios have always done this. They always have their movie releases. All the studios have their releases planned out several years in advance. And they have weekends kind of picked. So like the studios are always like going back and forth on whose big movie is coming out which big weekend, especially during the summer and the Christmas movie season. They're the two biggest movie seasons. They're always fighting for who gets what weekend. And so that's why these things are planned out like at least 3 years in advance. So every time Marvel changes any of these dates, that changes a whole domino effect of other movies. So with Black Widow now pushing back, it basically takes the same weekend or the same period in July that their next release, Shang Chi, was supposed to take. I've got a picture of Shang Chi up there right now. So Shang Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings was supposed to come out in July, but now Black Widow is taking its place again. Shang Chi was supposed to have been coming out, I think, since like last year again. So it's been getting pushed back continually because it's always been pushed back to be the next movie after Black Widow. We don't know if there's going to be an end credit scene that leads into Shang-Chi or something like that. But we've still never even seen a trailer. I mean, I think Marvel, because of their strategy, they don't want their movies competing against each other, so they won't release a trailer for even though like at least 3 movies have been completely done for over a year now. You know, they keep not releasing trailers for some of them because they always want you to be waiting for the next one. So because Black Widow, the next one, keeps not coming out, they have still not released a trailer for Shang-Chi, which is now moved to September 3rd. So that's a non-traditional date for Marvel. Usually Marvel has been doing a date in May, sometimes a date in July, and then usually a date in November. So this is kind of a non-traditional. They're kind of because they don't want to shift a lot of other movies back in order to avoid some of that domino effect. All they're doing is moving Shang-Chi to September instead of moving to their November date. Because already on their November date, they've got the Eternals, and that's another one that has been done for almost a year. What are you doing? Are you doing anything? Your camera's changing.
Me?
Yeah. Okay, just keep talking. I guess every once in a while keep talking because your picture changes if you stop talking, I think. Sorry.
Okay, that makes it harder.
Well, just kind of throw in your 2 cents every once in a while. Yeah, the Eternals, I mean, I know you don't know that much about them, but I mean, that's why I can't wait for the first trailers, because I want, people who don't know about the Eternals to get excited about it. I mean, it's really the next project like Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's a Marvel Comics group that people outside of comics don't really know about. Like, no one outside of comics has ever heard of the Eternals. No one outside of comics had ever heard of Guardians of the Galaxy. And so even comics people were like, okay, I don't know how well Guardians of the Galaxy is going to work out. And then it was phenomenal. It was definitely one of the most successful. Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say 2 things.
Please.
Now I forgot what my second thing was. I'll just say my first thing for now. I believe we have already had at least one trailer for Eternals a while ago.
I think some images came out, but we haven't seen any actual scenes. There's I think the only thing that we've seen is we know some of the characters' costumes because some toys have been advertised already, because they have to prepare the toys like almost a year in advance. But we definitely haven't seen any actual scenes from the movie yet.
Okay.
But that's okay. And what was did you remember your second thought?
Not yet. I will tell you if I do.
Please do. But my point is that, like Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's a more lesser known Marvel Comics book, the Eternals is another one where people are like, okay, how could the Eternals possibly succeed? And, go ahead, please. Mm-hmm.
I remember now, not even the people in the Guardians of the Galaxy, in the MCU, really know who the Guardians of the Galaxy are.
True. Yeah, so I mean, the 2 things I think it has going for it is, one, it has a really, really good cast of people who people are looking to see. A lot of actors who have been in a lot of other more famous stuff. And then the other thing is kind of similar to our story about a promising young woman, Emerald Fennell and Zatanna. Deborah Chow was the director of the movie Nomadland. Marvel had already locked her up. I mean, she was still finishing Nomadland, I think, and Marvel went ahead and got her involved as the director of Eternals. I think this will be her fourth movie. Would be Eternals. Her third movie, Nomadland, which is out in theaters and on streaming services now, it has been winning awards again left and right. And I'd say it's the most likely contender for the movie that will win the Academy Award for Best Picture. Emerald Fennell may possibly win a writer or a director. Deborah Chow, I would say, would be a very strong contender for director, and Nomadland may win a lot of awards. So that'd be, an award-winning, Oscar-winning, Oscar-nominated director, is doing 2 Marvel movies from now. That's very, very exciting. So, I mean, it has the possibility of being a really creative, really interesting movie. I've seen Nomadland. It's a really good movie, and so there is nothing in that movie that lends itself to say why she would be good to do the Eternals, and to me that makes it so much more interesting to say the Eternals may be something completely different than anything we've seen before in a Marvel movie, and from a creative standpoint, I think that's totally exciting. Okay, we'll move on. Let's see. We'll move on. I think I just wrote that in there. If you wanted to say the next one. If you know what SM is.
SM anyway.
Sorry, I abbreviated. All I was saying in there was that the next Spider-Man movie,
Spider-Man.
Yeah, the next Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, is still scheduled for December, and nothing has changed on that. How about you do the next one? And I just put up her picture.
Okay. So Helen Mirren is going to be
Helen Mirren.
Okay, Helen Mirren is going to be the next villain in the next Shazam movie. Hespera, daughter of Atlas.
Yep. Yeah, so Oscar-winning actress Helen Mirren. She will be the villain in the next Shazam movie, which is called Fury of the Gods. I believe they're still working on it right now. And the character, I believe, is a new one. I looked it up and read a bunch of articles. I don't believe it's an existing character from the comics. It's a new character that's been created for the film, and her name is Hespera. And so she's the daughter of one of the Greek gods that Shazam gets his powers from. It's one of the A's in Shazam is Atlas. Okay, we move to the next one. And you can go ahead and sit that one. Yeah, Flash.
Flash's dad is getting recast for the Flash movie. I'm guessing that by what you wrote, you mean that Ron Livingston is going to play him?
Correct. And adults parents.
It is a little confusing.
Sorry. Yeah, from the parent end, the parents will recognize him, particularly from Office Space. I think he's currently on a show on ABC as well right now. But the actor who had been playing his dad, who had appeared in kind of a smaller role in the Justice League movie, had a conflict because of a TV series that he's on. Now that because of the scheduling of the filming has shifted around so much, he's no longer available to be able to do that movie. So they went ahead and it's probably a significant enough role in that movie that they recast and put a different actor in that role. Honestly, this is one I think I talked to you about this before. The Flash movie, it had moved around so much and changed directors so many times. I honestly didn't think it was ever going to happen, and they've now started to announce a bunch of cast, and they start filming this summer, so I think it is actually going to happen now. The Flash movie is directed by Andy Muschietti, the director who did the 2-part It movies last year. And I know that they did a big casting. I think we covered it last week maybe, that they'd cast an actress as Supergirl. I know the idea is that it's kind of a multiverse movie in Flash, where there's going to be different versions of characters, and so I believe it's going to be an alternate universe Supergirl in there. We know there's going to be alternate universe multiple versions of Batman in there already. And let's see, we're trying to figure it out, hopefully for next week for Emily to be able to see the pictures. But I have a picture up of Ruby Rose and Wallis Day. So do you want to talk about that one?
I just heard a battery noise.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea where it came from.
Okay. Well,
it might have been the Chromebook.
Okay. So Wallis Day, the actress, she had actually appeared on the series Krypton a couple of years ago. I believe as the ancestor of General Zod. She's now going to be recast on Batwoman, taking the place of Ruby Rose. For spoilers, if you haven't seen last week's Batwoman, they kind of, and we're going to probably review it in the review section, but they revealed at the very, very end that Kate Kane actually is alive, but we know Ruby Rose is not coming back, so they've replaced her with actress Wallis Day. And then one I'm very, very excited about, I'm pulling the picture up now, is in the Black Adam movie, which is coming. They actually haven't started shooting yet, but they've been doing a bunch of casting for it. The Black Adam movie, starring The Rock, is going to be having appearances by a number of characters from the Justice Society of America, and they've cast one of my favorite actors, Pierce Brosnan, as Dr. Fate. Again, I don't know that you would know where he's from, but adults will definitely know him as James Bond. So I'm very, very excited about that, just to have an actor of his capability and finding a place for him in either Marvel or DC. I'm like surprised no one had snatched him up, because on screen he is a superhero. And then our last bit of news there, just to tell you, Emily, what I've got a picture of Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange from the previous movie, but a big question mark over his face. And I know we talked about this. Do you remember, why I put a question mark over his face there? We talked about it the other day, but it's fine. Do you remember what we were talking about?
We talked about it.
Yeah. Do you remember why that,
Yeah.
there's a big mystery around what he looks like?
Because they either did. I don't know what to say. I don't know exactly what you're asking me.
Don't worry about it. The stories had come out that Benedict Cumberbatch, who's in the middle of filming the second Doctor Strange movie, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, because in the course of his regular life, he's doing interviews and doing Zoom calls for other jobs. Every time he's doing a Zoom call, he has to take the camera and point it at the ceiling so that it cannot show his face or what he's wearing, because there is some big mystery that that Marvel has a big deal about. It's in his contract right now, for non-disclosure, that no one is allowed to see what he looks like right now, which just means that they're doing some big surprise look change to Doctor Strange in the next movie, and we don't know what it is. So, it may be, I think that one's now supposed to come out first 3 months of 2022. I think like probably February of 2022, somewhere around there. So, we'll have to wait till probably after Eternals to get some tease of what he looks like in the next Doctor Strange movie. But that's why there's a big mystery there. So that was our... Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I figured out what the charging noise was.
I'm sure our viewers want to know.
Fine, I'll save it for later.
No, please tell me what was the charging noise?
Okay. I thought you were being sarcastic.
A little bit, but go ahead.
My big cord was coming out of the wall, and so my iPad kept making the charging noise because it was being unplugged.
Gotcha. So it kept telling you it was unplug, replug, unplug, replug. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, good to know. I'm going to... Good. Excellent. So I'm going to move now into our review segment called Talk Time.
Talk Time.
Shot. And we're back. So let's see. Let's start off with something we started talking about last week, and we'll probably be talking about every week because it's definitely the current big thing. Is Falcon and
Yeah.
the Soldier? Yeah, we watched it. That's first chance that we could get. 6:30 Friday evening. We watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 2. What did you think?
I don't remember that much of it, which might be a problem, but I remember parts of it.
Okay, we'll talk about the parts you remember.
So what I remember of the episode, is when they were, in the Jeep with the new Captain America. Well, with Captain America. I forgot his name.
John Walker.
You forgot it. Huh?
John Walker.
Oh, John Walker. Yeah. And his sidekick, which was
Battlestar.
Battlestar. Thank you. When they were in the Jeep after the battle they had. And I wanted to say that probably my favorite part of the whole season is going to be Bucky and Sam's very interesting conversations.
The way that they keep snapping at each other.
Yes.
What'd you think about the scene with them with the psychiatrist and the psychiatrist making them try to figure out their problems together?
It was very funny because they were just like having a staring contest.
Yeah.
I was trying to model it.
Mm-hmm. Which definitely Bucky's going to win because everyone keeps commenting on the fact that Bucky just sits there and stares and stares. So yeah, at a staring contest, he's going to win.
I was just doing the staring thing.
Yep. And then, go ahead.
I don't really have anything.
That's okay.
That I say right now.
I think with some of the other stuff that they brought up, the fact that there was a black Captain America in the 1950s, that was interesting. Isaiah Bradley, which is from the comics. And then I kind of told you that, potential spoiler, we don't know. I mean, this could be like WandaVision where everyone speculated about everything and everything was going to be some big, thing to the comics, and a ton of stuff never was. A lot of the theories just never panned out. But the fact that when they went to Isaiah Bradley's house, the young man who answers the door is most likely his grandson Elijah, who in the comics does end up becoming a Patriot, who is a member of the Young Avengers. So they definitely seem to be kind of potentially teasing a future Young Avengers something, TV show, movie to maybe take the place of the Avengers. I mean, so far, we know that, characters who are in Young Avengers, ones that we know are coming, the Kate Bishop Hawkeye character from Hawkeye is definitely part of the Young Avengers. Scarlet Witch's sons, Wiccan and Speed, who we saw appear in WandaVision, and we heard their voices at the end, saying "Mom, help me," which kind of teases that we're not done with them yet. That just because they went away with the Hex doesn't mean that they're necessarily gone, because that happened in the comics too. In the comics, her children had disappeared and then came back, as teenage versions as Wiccan and Speed. So that's three. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you, but technically they haven't gotten the Wiccan and Speed names yet.
No.
They're just Tommy and Billy.
Correct.
So far.
Yep, that is correct. They haven't been named that, but in the comics, that's what they were called. And then we've got Cassie Lang, Scott Lang's daughter in the Ant-Man movies. We know that she's appearing in the next Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, and they've cast, so far, the kid actress who did the first two, she was really good, and then they had a young adult actress, playing her in a very quick scene in Endgame, but she didn't appear very long. It wasn't a very significant actress or anything. It was a very small role, but they've recast Cassie again for the next movie, and the actress that they've cast is a much more significant actress who's done, I think she starred in a bunch of horror films and stuff. But she's Catherine Newton is her name, and she's been in big things. She's got a name. I mean, she's got a bigger career. Casting her as Cassie suggests that it's going to be a bigger role, a more important role. The 20-something Cassie, or the late teen Cassie, who's appearing in the next Ant-Man movie in the comics, takes over the mantle from her dad and becomes Structure. I don't think she shrinks a lot as much as she grows more. So she does more the Giant Man thing than the Ant-Man thing. But she is a member of the Young Avengers as Structure. So you add Patriot Elijah Bradley to that, and we've got most of the members of Young Avengers all coming up. So that's really exciting. Oh, and the tease at the very end of Zemo. I mean, I'm very excited for Zemo to be coming back as a villain. We know just from pictures and posters and stuff like that he will be putting on the mask, and I know that doesn't mean anything to you, but to a comics fan, we had Zemo in a whole movie as a villain and never saw him put on the purple mask. So I'm very, very excited for the idea of him putting on the purple mask.
Good for you.
Yeah, thanks. And we know Sharon Carter's coming back. I think you liked her. I know you really liked her grandmother or her great aunt, Peggy Carter. You were a big fan of Agent Carter. You were a big fan of that, and so we'll see if Sharon Carter can kind of grow into the role as a more interesting character, because I'm looking forward to her coming back.
Yeah. Maybe she'll replace Black Widow for me.
Maybe. I mean, well, we've also got a younger Black Widow coming too. So we've got the younger Black Widow who appears in the next movie, and let's see. I'm trying to remember which one she's supposed to appear in. I think it might. I think it's the Hawkeye show. I think that the actress who is playing the newer, younger Black Widow in the Black Widow movie is going to be appearing in the Hawkeye series. So she's not going anywhere.
So you're saying maybe Black Widow's we're not done with the Black Widow story.
Right. I don't think we're done with that character. I think we are done with Natasha. I think Natasha is still passed away as of Endgame, or sacrificed her life in Endgame. I don't think Natasha's coming back in the future, but the new character that they're introducing in the Black Widow movie is going to carry on as the new Black Widow.
Okay.
Let's move on to Batwoman. A lot of stuff happened in this last episode. I mean, it basically was the mid-season kind of conclusion. They wrapped up a big chunk of the story that they've been doing all season. What did you think about all the twists and turns in there?
I thought it was very exciting. It's like, here's one thing, here's the next, and then it was like very thrilling and adventurous.
Cool.
And I liked how they were teasing that Ryan might die, and then one of the cliffhangers at the end was that she's most likely gonna live because her plant is a desert rose.
Yeah, that was a big surprise. The one that the plant had been almost a whole other character, since her first appearance of taking care of that plant in her van, and then during fights, whenever the plant got involved, she was so concerned about keeping the plant alive because her girlfriend had given it to her, and then she had kept it alive through her mom and everything like that. It almost represented losing her mom again to have something happen to the plant, and then now we find out that plant that had been given to her girlfriend, who had been involved in kind of the the whole drugs from the plant, or that the plant was like that the desert rose was a drug that could be used to heal people, that the plant she'd somehow gotten a desert rose, and that's the plant that she had given Ryan, and so Ryan's been carrying around a desert rose this entire time, but just the flower itself doesn't bloom until it soaks up blood, and so to have it work so that the
Women's blood.
Women, you're right, very good. Specifically women's blood, yes, that the plant has to soak up women's blood in order for the flower to bloom, and then basically have the plant that can cure all disease. Yeah, it was very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only thing I didn't like is I felt like, okay, we've now spent the whole season teasing, is Kate alive? And I'd rather she have just been dead, because to me, I'd rather have like ended that story and move on and have Ryan be able to have her own story, not be tied to Kate. And they did that. They gave that to us. I mean, all the characters now believe, that Kate is now completely dead, so they can all move on. And we find out in the very, very last shot of the episode,
Yeah.
Kate is alive, but obviously has lost part of her face or is scarred or something like that to open the door for her getting replaced as a new actress. Now, I've heard some stuff from the potential. I mean, this is not spoilers. I mean, it's stuff that the woman who writes the show has mentioned. I think when it comes back, it's going to be like a month later. So there's going to have been some time for the Batwoman team to have grieved over Kate, and for people to have like figured out stuff in their lives, without finding out that Kate's alive. So there's been at least a month of time. And then the big thing, to kind of make us feel a little bit better about it is, even though Kate is coming back, Kate will not be Batwoman. Ryan is Batwoman. Ryan has earned the right to be Batwoman. She is going to be our Batwoman moving forward, which is good because I really like her as a character.
I just realized I'm wondering if we have a bunch more seasons, if every season will change a Batwoman.
Oh, I hope not. and I think the actress who plays Batwoman probably hopes not. Yeah, and I think she's going to be a Batman. One thing that happened in that episode that I really like, actually, was it even this week? It might have been. No, I guess it was this week. Was her flying in the plane and her mentioning, is this a good time to mention that I've never flown in a plane before? And it just really pointed out something that I find really interesting, which is that everyone who has kind of been the Batman so far, Bruce Wayne, and then his cousin Kane, and even in the comics, it's been like, Dick Grayson and stuff like that. Everyone who's been in the Batsuit so far, and particularly in the show, has been someone who grew up rich and has come from that background and come from that experience. And I really like the idea, the change. Forget about the fact that, she's a different race and all that kind of stuff. I like, from a story standpoint, the idea that we, for the first time, have someone in the Batsuit who comes from a vastly different experience, who did not grow up with all the money in the world and all the power in the world, who, came from nothing,
Not a Kane.
What? Not a Kane, yep.
Not a Wayne or a Kane.
Right, very good. Not a Wayne or a Kane, yeah. Yeah, someone who basically, grew up in orphanages, grew up on the streets, was living in her van. Someone from a completely different background and experience. So I find that interesting. Superman and Lois, another big one. I thought one of the biggest episodes of the season so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got more than yeah?
Not really.
Okay. I mean, it was exciting because we had like a superpowered fight with, someone who has Kryptonian powers. We've got this alternate universe, Luthor, who's now kind of wormed his way into meeting Lois Lane and is going to be interacting with Lois Lane. We don't know exactly what his agenda is, other than we know that he comes from some alternate world or alternate version where Kal-El had gone bad, where he was married to Lois Lane, where Sam Lane and him were in the military together and stuff. So he's interacted with all these characters, but he's got a vastly different experience with who Kal-El is with than the Kal-El that we've got here. I really like the flashbacks.
Yeah.
That in the show, it's the first time we got to see a younger version of his mother and really got to interact with his mother, because his mother, passed away so early in the first episode that we really didn't get to know her or anything. And they cast actually an actress that I've liked in the past, Michelle Scarabelli, as the younger version of his mom, and him as a teenager, and getting to see more of what his experience was in between the time his dad passed away and him leaving for Metropolis and his destiny as Superman.
Yeah. I still can't believe that it took me to the second flashback to figure out that was Clark Kent.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, when we got to the second flashback, you go, that was Clark? Yeah, you didn't get that from the first one. But that was interesting. What do you think about the teenagers? What do you think about the twins, Jonathan and Jor? Yeah, I can't think of it. Jordan, Jonathan, Jordan, and
I believe it's Jordan.
what?
I said I believe it's Jordan.
Yeah, Jonathan and Jordan, and then
Jordan.
and then Lana Lang's daughter. So what do you think about them and the relationships between them and stuff?
I think it's interesting that we follow like the storyline of people who are just trying to work out their sort of normal lives. Like they each have issues, sort of, but other than that, it's pretty much a normal life. Like we always for superhero stuff, you're always following someone who gets who sometimes has problems, but they fix it pretty quickly. And other than that, they're treated not how people are really treated, and how Jonathan, Jordan, and
I can't think of the girl's name either.
Lana's
daughter.
Yeah, me neither. If you know, please comment down to us. We'll probably figure it out eventually.
Yeah.
But how their lives are pretty much normal.
Yeah, so that they've got real problems.
Very different perspective.
Yeah, so they've got real family problems, teenage problems, things that aren't getting solved within 1 week. So it's so you got that really cool kind of teen drama in there. I mean, it really helps with your superheroes if it's not just all about their superhero life. It's about their real life and having real issues that don't get solved in 1 hour episode. And then I don't know. I think I'm gonna skip ahead to the last item on the reviews. Just because I think it's a nice shift of gears. We've talked a lot about superheroes, and I really wanted this to not necessarily always be superheroes. Even though it's obviously something that I'm really big into and something that we share a lot together. But we also talked about sharing stuff with Disney and Disney princesses, and so because I had seen a story this week that most of the original cast of the 2007 film Enchanted are coming back this summer to film a sequel to that, which is going to go straight to Disney Plus next year in 2022. So I realized that we'd never watched the movie Enchanted together, and I went ahead and got that, and we watched that together the other night. So just to kind of switch a little bit and go to princesses and Disney movies and everything. What did you feel about that one? After you adjust your headset.
Yeah, my ears hurt and my hair is in the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you're asking me how I feel about it, right?
Yeah, about Enchanted. Just what stuff do you remember in it? What stuff was really exciting? What stuff you didn't like? What stuff you did like?
One thing that was really exciting for me was that Idina, I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Idina Menzel.
Even though I say it a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, Idina Menzel was in it.
Yeah, and why is that exciting to you?
So we both thought, well, it's exciting for me because of how many times I've watched Frozen as a kid and how many times I've watched Frozen 2. And we both thought it was a waste that they didn't have her sing, even though Frozen had not come out, but she was still on Broadway, where she sung a lot.
Yep.
So we both thought it was a waste of her talent.
Yep. What did you think of the main characters and the lead actress Giselle, who played Giselle, and what did you think of her singing? What did you think about the singing overall in the songs?
Well, I thought that they were very fairy tale songs. Like, I can't seem to get the note right, but when Gisela does her call to the animals,
Right.
I don't even want to try right now.
But the way that she, in the fairy tale way that she can like do her la 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 la, yeah, and call up birds and other animals.
Or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what else to talk about it.
Well, what'd you think of some of the other characters? The prince, the regular guy that she meets in New York City, the little girl. I know you like the little girl.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. No other feelings about it, but you enjoyed it overall.
Mhm. Yeah.
And are you excited about there being a sequel?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to bring back the actress who brought the daughter, but you know, if they bring back the actress who brought the daughter, who played the daughter, it'd be 14 years later, so you'd be able to see her potentially as an adult. What are you doing?
I'm just wiggling back and forth.
Okay.
I'm gonna wiggle off the camera now. Now I'm gonna wiggle back.
Is that your way of saying that we're probably done?
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to test out my ending.
Test out your ending stuff. Okay, let's see. So go ahead and, you know, this is the end, I guess, of episode 2, and we'll try to be back every week, Sunday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. And I'll leave it to Emily to close us out.
Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. And check us out at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The links should be in the description when we post this on our channel, so that people who weren't able to see it live will get to see it not live.
Okay, that's great. You want to say just your last line part?
That sort of was my last
Okay, I figured you would still want to end with the leave a like and subscribe.
I did that at the beginning of my ending.
Okay, well, thank you, and we look forward to seeing everyone next week.